So hi Dave, thanks for taking the time out to speak to me today. You just want to introduce yourself for my audience?
Yes, Marlene. So first of all, thank you for having me on. Absolutely honoured. So I'm Dave. Recently opened up Paragon in Temple. My background would be predominantly kettlebells. So I use kettlebells, body weight, and barbell strength training. So that's kind of the fundamentals of the training that I use. My clientele is predominantly female. I have a few males. It's predominantly female. The male client base is starting to grow, so it is, which is good. But I mostly train females and have done for several years now. So
brilliant. Okay,
that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, good. Thank you so much. So the same for myself. My audience is mainly female. I have age ranges, all age ranges, but mainly from about 35 to 50 plus. Really, I just want to talk to you about women and weight training, because there's a lot of women would stay away from weight training, because I think, I don't want to look like a man. Lifting weights is going to make me bulky. And then maybe predominantly do cardio, lots of running and on the bike and things like that. So I just want to chat about the importance of women weight training, and especially as we get older. So what is your view on that? Basically, would you agree or disagree? Or
I totally agree. And it's always the kind of the big obstacle whenever females come on board and they haven't weight trained previously, where there's this kind of misconception that lifting weights is going to make them look bulky and maybe lose their feminine characteristics. And there is definitely a fear of that. And it's about moving their mindset on from, as you say, endless cardio, whether it be on a treadmill, on a bike, or just endless running or walking, and with little or no strength training involved. So it's trying to change from that mindset to incorporate. And I'm not saying that not do any cardio, because I still believe that cardiovascular health needs to be incorporated into all programs. But I'm saying about getting the healthy balance of using strength training and incorporating that in with cardiovascular training, as well as complementing it with diet. So it can be a tricky one, but what I find is once they start to see the results that the weight training does for them, it kind of is like a domino effect. So it's kind of really about buying into the process through social proof. So with other clients within my group. So once that barriers broke down and they start to believe in the benefits of the weight training. So it can be quite difficult, Marlene. It really, really can. But again, it's about building habits and about building self-belief. I find, which can take time, especially if it's been years and years of cardio and no weight. It's about breaking that down. It really is.
And the thing is, you talked about just, changing the habit and the mindset. And I've certainly found whenever female clients have came on, like you say, they haven't really trained for a long time, or they've been doing just cardio-based exercises. And they think when they come to me that I'm going to make them lift, loads of barbells with, 100 kg weight, do lots of deadlifts. And we're getting straight into all this, heavy stuff, because that's what you need to do to strength train. So it's changing that mindset to say, no, you don't need to start lifting, 20 kg dumbbells and nearly breaking your back or your neck. Again, it's about just starting with the basics and building yourself up. So again, kind of your view on that, because I know some females are thinking, here, I've got to go in and start deadlifting here, and I'm not ready for that, So it's just start with the basics. So what's your kind of take on that as well?
Yeah, well, I think first and foremost, a stabilization period is required before strength training. So, building the foundations of actually how to engage muscles, because there's so many people that will train under load, but with no engagement. And then, for instance, they get sore knees, so they go straight into a barbell back squat. They've never done a proper bodyweight squat, never mind. And then maybe going into some light kettlebell goblet work. And then progress into barbell back squat. Not all clients, I feel, need to do all the barbell lifts, barbell deadlift, barbell back squat. I don't think it's necessary for absolutely everybody, especially if there is, mobility restrictions and different maybe niggles or injuries, previous or current. So I don't feel that barbell is for everybody, but I do feel that body weight exercises are a must. And once they master the body weight exercises, then they can progress on to the likes of kettlebell work. So yeah, I think the sort of everybody must get in and everybody must deadlift and bench press. Yeah, it's that can be definitely overwhelming for females because they feel that by doing a barbell back squat, for instance, that they can't do it. And that's another thing as well. Whenever clients come into me and they start off with body weight and kettlebells and then they go into the barbells, as soon as you give them a barbell, they freak out. Like I said, it's a barbell deadlift. But once they do a couple of reps, they actually turn around and go, I don't know what I was worried about.
Yeah, yes.
But because they have been drilled so much with muscle engagement, with the correct posture to be in and everything else when it comes to it, it just flows naturally. So everything everything from the kettlebell, that's why I love kettlebells, is transferable into barbell.
Yeah.
So and it makes things less intimidating and a wee bit easier. So I think somebody going straight into barbell work with no experience, for me, is a big no-no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. And we touched on a wee bit of, the engagement in the muscles and the correct posture and things like that. So many people, like you say, can't even do a body weight squat. Think they can, but they can't. And there's no point, if you can't do a proper squat, there's no point you starting to lift kettlebells and dumbbells and doing back squats. You have to master the basics. So for somebody, it's also thinking about, a female's also thinking, right, okay, I've been doing cardio and I want to lift some weights and I think I can do a squat, but I'm not too sure. Would you have some tips on where they should start and what kind of weight they should be looking at doing, or how would they even think about doing that? Where should I start? What weight should I lift?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I feel first and foremost that before anybody gets into any weight training at all, even whether it be body weight, is to assess their mobility. So, if they're, for instance, their heels are lifting off the ground with a body weight squat, well, then we know we have an issue there, and we know that we have a wee bit of work to work on. And, mobility is still strength training. Yeah. So by working on, different isometric holds and things like that, it's still a form of strength training, whether it be, yourself in the functional range conditioning, the pails and rails. So that could be their form of strength training to address all those issues first. Once the foundation has been built with mobility and they're able to move a wee bit better, then start into some bodyweight exercises, then followed by kettlebells. That would kind of be my go-to. So if anybody's thinking of getting into strength training, I would always tell them to get a screening done by yourself, or anybody who's qualified in it and knows what they're doing, to let them know exactly their movement patterns and to let them know, are they able to do a deadlift? Does their hamstrings allow them to do it? Are they able to do a back squat? Do they have the ankle mobility? Do they have just all the techniques nailed down before they move into that? For instance, if it's shoulder pressing, I don't feel that somebody should go into a barbell shoulder press straight away. I think that they should build up with single arm work as well. Again, does that person have the mobility to do an overhead press? And these are all things that need to be addressed first instead of going straight in. Ultimately, it's about keeping the client safe. So if they're going in knowing that they're able to do these exercises because you've screened them and say, well, listen, your mobility screening suggests that you can do X, Y, and Z, well, then they have a program to go off. And again, I think that makes a lot of sense for somebody. So going back to your question, tips for somebody getting into strength training, I think they need to assess their movement patterns first to see where they're at.
Okay. And say for the point that their mobility is great and they decide to go ahead and get into strength training. So you'd mentioned there maybe following a plan rather than just going and thinking, oh, I want to build my glutes or whatever. That's the big one at the minute, isn't it? Give me a JLo, but so it's following a plan is another massive thing that people should do. I'm not saying everybody needs to go to a coach, but you need to have a starting point, to do that. So again, what would you advise on that?
Yeah, so I would recommend full body workouts, and a full body structure, a lower push pull, so a squat and a hinge, some sort of type of hinge, whether it be a deadlift, kettlebell swing, and then the symmetry with the upper body. So, a push pull drill, so they could have squat with deadlift, with a press overhead, bent over row, something like that, or they could mix it up. So I think by structuring full body, and I also think by putting it into a circuit format so that it's still burning the calories, because at the end of the day, you'll get people coming to you that are wanting fat loss, but you're incorporating a strength program in. So by keeping it into a circuit style format means that they're keeping the intensity up. They're not lifting super heavy either. They're focusing on form, and they're just ingraining that form, and it's a lot safer and probably a lot more enjoyable for them than sitting doing 5 sets of 5 and all the rest of it. So I think that would be a good starting point for someone.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And just again, just why women shouldn't fear weight training, because there's a lot that go, no, I'm just not doing it, going to hurt myself. Why not to fear it? To go ahead and do it. Again, what would you advise for that?
Yeah. So I would be looking at the reasons as the impact of not doing it. So that's what I'd be looking at first and foremost. So if you're talking to your client ranges 35 to 50 plus, is that?
Yeah.
So we're talking about, once we're going with 50s, the likes of osteoporosis and things like that. So without strength training, it's going to increase the risk of that, accelerating, but also the likes of falls and stuff too. If somebody is falling and that their bones, they haven't built up that bone density, again, it's going to increase the risk of perhaps breaking a hip. So there's long-term health benefits to strength training, which increase in bone density is massive. Fat loss is a byproduct, and that's something that we need to educate people on. Just use exercise solely for fat loss. That happens naturally. But I think posture is massive as well. So people, whenever I share before and after pictures with clients, the first thing that I always notice is the posture. The shoulders are back, they're standing a lot more confident, and that's massive. So that's going to help as well to minimize risks of injury, such as shoulder impingements. A lot of people are sitting 9 to 5 like this. So I think that's going to be fantastic. It's also going to help, with the likes of mental health as well. So, like the strength training, exercise, the benefits you get from exercise, there's just nothing else quite like it out there that will give them the natural endorphin releases that you'll get from strength training, and obviously cardio as well. So I think that's really, really important.
That's it. I 100% agree with all of that. The fat loss then becomes the byproduct, because once you get into a good training pattern and you're lifting weights, strength training, and balancing that out with a wee bit of cardio, and the mentally and physically is unbeatable. There's no medication or drugs that's going to touch that in a healthy way, is there?
No, and I think just on that topic as well, strength training will definitely, will definitely increase metabolism a lot more so than what cardio alone will do. Now, obviously, cardio and weight training combined is the perfect formula, as well with diet. But as or as any of your clients know, have been introduced to strength training, they will change shape very quickly. And that's another thing as well. It's not about becoming a smaller version as what we do if you just restricted calories and starve yourself. It's about actually changing shape. It's about putting muscle on, lean muscle tissue as well. So I think like that, increase in metabolism through weight training is something that's, I don't know why, but it seems to be often overlooked. Unless you're sweating during a workout, that you're not burning calories. Do you get me? Yeah.
There's a lot of people like that as well. I've come across, unless you're really sweating and working hard, then you're not working hard enough.
It's not a good workout.
It is. It's a crazy mindset, but it's a very popular one. So again, just two more questions for you, because I know you're busy.
That's great.
So time, like people would spend an obscene amount of time sometimes in the gym, and like most of my clients are busy women, business women, mummies, they just don't have the time. But again, it's like, it's running at home that you don't need to spend like hours or, long sessions. You can get a good enough session and maybe, 20 to 30 minutes of work.
Yeah.
So again, your view on that, kind of the amount of time you'd spend training.
I think absolutely. I think, a good 15, 20 minute warm up, and that's working into the actual main workout itself. The whole session should be done in under an hour. That should be the warm up, the main workout itself, and the cool down in under an hour.
Okay.
Providing the intensity and stuff, everything is kept right. And sessions don't have to last an hour, as you say. They can last 20 minutes. Have a warm up done first and a 20-minute workout, 5-10 minute cool down. And sometimes those workouts are just as effective as the hour-long ones because the intensity's been increased. So going back to training relentlessly for hours on end, it doesn't serve anyone. And if anything, it's probably going to lead to quicker burnout.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it probably suggests that the intensity is probably not high enough as well if somebody's having to spend 2 hours plus in a training session.
Yeah. And how many times a week do you think? I mean, there's people out there training 6-7 days a week. Is that enough?
Yeah. No, I don't think that's a need at all. I think, for a beginner, 2 sessions a week, 2 to 3.
Yeah.
I always like to start complete beginners off in 2 sessions a week and space them out, 2-3 days recovery in between. Yeah. And then whenever they're not training with me, it's, steps, counting steps, or not even counting steps, just being mindful of just moving more.
Yeah.
I don't like people getting fixated on figures, like I must do 10,000 steps. It's like, well, maybe, do you get me? Like, because then people are looking at their Fitbits and going, I only burnt so many calories and it's saying at my heart, all that. So I don't really like that.
Okay.
But what I do like is just more movement. And more movement could be in the form of even gardening, get up and do the gardening. Not that I do that, but more movement in general, or even if it's, mobility session or a yoga session or out for a walk with whoever. I think that's key. So yeah, 2 sessions to start off with, build it up to 3. 4 sessions that would be sort of like the high end, and I think that's enough but I would say 4 sessions, that would take somebody, a good 6-8 months plus to get to that level. I think 2 to 3 is the golden number. 3 is perfect, realistically.
Okay, great. And then just to recap, so if someone's thinking of starting weight training, going for maybe 2 to 3 sessions a week, and the following a plan, definitely having structure, following the plan. Eating is another thing that needs to go hand in hand. Women find it so hard to get their protein in. That's another point as well. They really, really struggle.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, again, with the mindset, just why do you have to eat so much protein? So yeah, definitely diet needs to be on point. And any other tips in there, Dave?
I think, like anybody starting out a fitness journey, whether it be females, males, or both, I think having a plan in place, as you say, structure, and looking at it before they delve into anything, and going, right, look at the next calendar month, for instance, and go, right, can I commit to 3 sessions a week? Can I commit to doing a weekly food shop or shopping twice a week? Can I commit to making a conscious effort of tracking what I eat? And I'm not saying about tracking every single calorie that goes into their mouth. I'm talking about building habits, because I think the big thing is that people are motivated to get started, but then the motivation drops and then they blame themselves because they're not motivated. They think that it's to do with themselves. But what I always find helps is by just ingraining the habits. Yeah. So turning up to 3 sessions, even if they're turning up to 1 session, and it's a very light session because they've maybe had a hard day at work or their kids have kept them up or whatever. It's about keeping the habit going. It's about calorie tracking. As I say, it doesn't have to be religiously every single day. It can be 5 days out of 7. And once the motivation drops, which, as we know as coaches, motivation is what gets you started. It's habits which keeps you going whenever motivation drops.
Yeah.
And motivation will come and go. So it's about understanding that you'll not always be motivated. There'll be days that you'll feel like you don't want to put the work in, but those are probably the most important days where even if you're like, running at a 5 out of 10, at least you give your max 5 out of 10 on that day. And I think that's really important.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
that would probably be.
Yeah. Great. So listen, that's brilliant. We've covered loads today. I hope somebody gets value on it and we've forced them out to get some weight training done and not be afraid of it. So that's everything for me. So thanks very much for spending the time going through that. Really appreciate it. And I'll chat to you soon. Thanks, Dave. Thanks. Bye.